Hello and a warm welcome to another edition of To The Point. On the show this week, the renowned classical dancer who's also a choreographer, orator, and someone who's been now newly inducted into the upper house, that's Rajya Sabha. I welcome Sonal Mansingh on our program. And ma'am, first of all, a very big congratulations to you.
Thank you.
My first question to you is that how big is this accomplishment for you, that you'll be nominated as a member of Rajya Sabha?
I don't take this as a personal accomplishment. That is secondary.
Okay.
For me, the primary thing is that art and culture, the traditions of India, what we call Sanskriti Parampara, that has been honored.
Okay.
I'm just a symbol.
But don't you think that this achievement or this validation of art and culture, as you say, should have come much earlier? I mean, the earlier governments have not recognized a person from the field of art and culture.
Aha. Now that's going to be a touchy subject because precisely you must have noticed, as several others who have congratulated or sent messages, been talked about, it's not one field against another, because all the activities in the society, they create the nation, and nation gains importance because of that. So be it sports, be it films, be it art, be it science, technology, whatever. Your question pertains to the absence,
absolutely, yes,
of recognition to art and culture of India, which we believe is the very pran, the atma, the soul and spirit of India. So therefore, not for me that has come late, but for the recognition in general. Indeed, I think it's come after several years. I think it was
Pandit Ravi Shankar. He got the last, and then now you have been nominated.
You know, when you say last, you have to see the arch. It's very funny. 1952, Rukmini Devi.
Right.
The first woman and nominated artist, Ravi Shankar, Sonal Mansingh. I mean, just look at the equity.
What do you think is the reason behind this big hiatus which we have seen in this particular field of art and culture? What is the reason for this hiatus?
I think increasingly art and culture, see, this is the era of revenue gaining. This is the era where you have to show gold medals, you have to show achievement in very concrete terms. Whereas art and tradition and culture is something so intangible, but so intangible that it is like the air that you breathe. You can't catch air in your hand, but without air you die, right? Mm-hmm. So therefore, it's just a very strange circumstances that have been happening globally.
Of course, what you're saying points out to an irony of situation, but does it also relate to some kind of an insensitivity of the earlier governments towards the field of art and culture? Is that also the way you would look at it?
I would rather use the word ignorance.
Okay.
Or a sense of ke theek hai. So what? I mean, you know, insensitivity you have used.
Okay. Okay. That's a diplomatic way of putting it.
I'm not known to be diplomatic. But I think there's also this kind of ignorance of the real value of this very sensitive field of art and culture. Right. And as I said earlier, you know, it's art and culture by which India has been known and has existed for thousands of years.
But Sonalji, now how do you plan to carry out your commitment towards art and culture now that you are inside the upper house? You have a potential representation in the house. How will you really carry forward this commitment? Any broad framework you have in mind?
My first session, that's the monsoon session, is short. And I've decided to attend the house, to listen, to observe, to absorb, to learn. And I've been told that you can make your interjections and you can, but even for that, I want a little terao,
okay,
not jump into things, number one. Number two, There are several issues. In fact, art and culture have not been given their priority or their primacy or the kind of importance and attention that it requires with the advancing times. It remains where it was, and in fact, it's become more of Nach Gana and, like that.
You made a mention of this Nach Gana, the perception, the way people perceive art and culture as some kind of an entertainment. The people see it as Nach Gana. In your capacity, how do you really plan to change this perception? Because you will have to change the mindset, not only of the leaders inside the house, but also outside Parliament as well.
As I was saying that I've asked my artist friends, both musicians, dancers and everyone, to come, and I'm going to meet them in groups because it's not just Sonal Mansingh who's going to raise the questions or the issues. I want to take them along. They should be on board. And there may be things which, I've not understood or forgotten. For example, I would say CSR, corporate social responsibility. It's a big word and it's a big idea. Where does it go? It goes mostly to sports, to education, maybe to medicine. Where is art and culture? Zilch. So there are so many such issues where I think government, corporates and everyone can make a contribution. The ministry itself needs to be revamped to really have a better appreciation of what they are there for. They are good people. They are good people. But the kind of consultations that we used to have with earlier ministers and earlier bureaucrats there, that's not happening at all.
Okay.
Not in my knowledge. If they're doing it, I don't know. And it would be good to meet up, invite senior artists, junior artists, whatever, take their views and, make policies or improve upon whatever is there. Third thing, as you said, inside the house, of course, I will raise issues. And I'm not going to keep quiet. Outside the house, as I've been doing all my life, I speak, I give interviews, I dance, I introduce my own art. Women's issues, my choreographies are so famous, Draupadi, Panchakanya, you name them. And through them, I think I've hit targets quite often, so that even MPs who have attended some of they sort of seem to slide down. Because when you throw questions directly through art, it's not through seminars and dharnas and sloganeering. It is through art.
But when you're sending out a social message from the stage, and when you are speaking or raising an issue inside the house, then within the house you have to, restrain yourself within a certain protocol. And known for your outspokenness, people have seen the way you have been outspoken. So, does it not discourage you in any way that now, I will be bound within a certain disciplinary framework which I will have to, abide by?
Discipline is the very bulwark of our art. Mental discipline, emotional discipline, physical discipline. So it's nothing new for me.
Okay.
And also, I think I take it up as a challenge, and I love challenges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like MPs, we see MPs trooping into the well of the house. When I was talking about discipline, it's all about that as well. So obviously, we would not see Sonal Mansingh trooping into the well of the house.
You'll see me dancing, doing the hasta mudras. I think the dignity of the house, the dignity of the members, dignity of the issue has to be maintained. You cannot cheapen it.
Absolutely. Okay, taking you away to a different topic now, and that recalls me to the incident of 1993 when you were invited by Vishwa Hindu Parishad, and you had to address the Swami Vivekananda's Chicago address, 100th anniversary. You were also then summoned by the Artists Against Communalism, and they called you Sanghi and Saffron. Then again, you were seen participating in an RSS rally which supported why the workers, the RSS workers were killed in Kerala. So people
that was
recently, yes.
Yeah.
So people normally try and tag, especially the opposition and the regional parties and the so-called secular parties, they try giving you labels like Saffron or Sanghi. What's your take on that, and what would you like to tell these kind of parties or politicians?
I think it is very childish and churlish. Wise people don't say that. People who put labels, chipka do. It's the easiest thing to do. But it shows your petty mentality, whoever does it, number one. Number two, I have always said that I am not a Marxist, I'm an artist. I said that to so many of the CPM members also at the time that I was hounded out of Sangeet Natak Academy in 2004. I have maintained the integrity of my art, I've maintained the integrity of my beliefs and convictions, which are this soil of India is so precious and dear to me. I'm so grateful to the divine powers or whatever that I say even 7 more births in India will not suffice for me to understand the mystique of India. And this is no slogan. This is a heartfelt feeling that I've had for a very long time. Saffron is beautiful. Saffron is the sun. Saffron is kesar. Saffron is energy. I love all these bright colors. I love green. I love blue. Blue is the ocean. Blue is the sky. Green is Srishti. If you don't have green, you can't always see just blue, just saffron, just red, just, So all this play on words and trying to influence the minds of the people, I find that so unnecessary. Second thing, third thing, I'm saying, the very people who called artists against communalism in 1993, those were the very people, I will not take the names, who, when their that person was killed by certain party gundas, on his name there is a road. On his name they started a whole movement and an organization. And they were the primary people, artists against communalism and so and so and so, and the whole thing. In fact, I was one of the founders. I danced on the roads. I danced in Shivaji Park, Bombay. I danced in Aligarh during just after 100-day curfew was lifted. I've done all that. But I am free. I'm free to perform, to speak, to do what I like, where I'm invited with respect, without any agenda. I'm free to do that. So people who talk about intolerance are themselves the most intolerant. That's what I've seen.
But Sonalji, when it comes to the theatre personalities, when it comes to the people belonging to the field of literature, generally, there is a feeling that either that person is a rightist or a leftist or a left of the center, right of the center. What is your positioning? Where do you position yourself?
I recently said, I am the center.
Okay.
Wherever I am, I'm the center. And this is my right and this is my left. This is my front, this is my back. That's it.
Okay.
Yes.
So you don't believe in any ideology, you don't believe in any agenda, and neither do you align yourself with any political party.
My agenda is the beauty and truth of art. My political party are the principles that guide India in the beautiful traditions. And my further agenda is to sensitize people to that.
Okay. You also come from a family of freedom fighters, and you've seen the freedom movement, how it evolved and what went on. Now when you see in the country this entire debate about nationalism, the way it is evolving, political parties jumping into the fray and calling it some muscular nationalism, some say it's a secular nationalism, the entire definition of nationalism seems to be changing. as an artist, when you have to view this debate or maybe review this debate, what do you have to say to this?
I'm sorry that nobody calls it the feminist nationalism.
Okay.
And I would like to call that, because we say Bharat Mata. It's the mother who gives birth, whether it's a man or a woman. Religion, the baby doesn't have a religion, right? So it's the Mata, it's the mother. So it's the feminist point of view of nationalism that should be held precious, dear to us. Vande Mataram, we say. And I love that song. I danced to it in 1997, the Golden Jubilee year of India's independence. At Kamani, there was a 1-month-long festival, Sangeet Natak Academy. Mine was the last day, first program, 30th day. And I do know that certain people walked out and they were sort of debating and saying loudly, "Are, ye to Vande Mataram kar rahi hai. Are, ye to," because already 1993 had happened. And then today, in all these intervening years of almost 20 years, every dancer, whether Mohiniyattam, Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, Kathak, Odissi, they've all danced Vande Mataram. I feel sad sometimes. We are not able to be grateful. We are not grateful. We are most ungrateful, wretched people if we do not love and respect the soil from which we have come. अरे हमारे पुरखे इस मिट्टी से बने, हम यहीं के हैं. सल्यूट करो, नमस्ते करो, प्रणाम करो, चूमो इस धरती को.
Coming to the nominated members of Rajya Sabha, ma'am, in the past we have seen when it has come to the performance of the celebrity MPs, not taking names of any particular leader, but the performance in the House has been abysmal. Their attendance has been pathetic. They have not asked any questions. So what is your idea about a nominated member of parliament inside Rajya Sabha, and what are the yardsticks to judge a nominated MP?
Judge, my God, you're frightening me.
Okay, let me put it the other way. What is your idea? How would you look at the success of a Rajya Sabha MP, nominated person?
Nominations are done from different fields of expertise, barring politics. So you are expected to bring about, issues which are not normally brought about by the political parties in Rajya Sabha. So I think that is the first guiding principle.
Okay.
The second one is nominated members are expected to speak with more thoughtfulness, with more, tharav, I think. And the third thing is that about the presence. You have to make your presence felt. I'm sorry, but otherwise it's a waste of public money.
Absolutely.
It's not just about salary and perks and pension. I think that would be so cheap. It's all about the responsibility given to you to speak and make people understand through the representatives here in the House, to the wider society, to the government, that these are the issues that need to be taken care of, to be addressed, and to participate in the debates in a very appropriate manner. This is how I see it.
You still have to make your first speech inside Rajya Sabha. And I believe what I'm told is that you are in the process of bringing up a lot of issues related to art and culture.
Are baapre. Already the rumors are rife. Huh?
Oh, yes. That is why I'm asking you. So what is the quintessence of your speech going to be? Of course, it's going to be related with art and culture. But what will be your main driving home point, if I could ask you?
If I tell you now, then what will people hear? I mean, they'll say, "Acha, bol liya, sun liya, jao." No, naturally it will be art and culture and something more. But the point is that I will get 5 minutes maximum, 3 to 5, if and in that, I want to make not too many things. I suppose I'll do a sort of a general survey and say that as time comes,
And
I
you're
would like
consulting
to.
other artists as well on what your agenda will be.
Yeah, because that will take a little time. So, you know, 6 saal hai, but I want to use my first session as I want to understand. Maybe I'll speak now or maybe I'll speak later.
Okay.
But that has to make a mark, right?
Okay. Another recent phenomena on which I would like to talk to you about is this entire lynching business, or the lynching industry, if I could say, the way it's evolving and the way media is also perceiving it. What do you have to say? Because Supreme Court also recently told the government that you need to bring in a law. There's a mobocracy which exists. What is your take on this?
You know, the word mob is very frightening, because to me it denotes mindless group of robotic people. You know, unko chabi de diya and they can just do whatever. So, not that there haven't been mobocracy or such horrible actions in 70 years or in the history of mankind, history of India. But in a civilized society, it is very difficult to swallow, to accept.
Right.
I think 125 crores and more, it's not a small number. And when you say mob, what kind of people are we looking at? Some educated, some semi-educated, some not at all educated. You know, so down the line, what do you expect from people who have nothing better to do, maybe, but to go out, and I'm sure they're paid, maybe they're not paid. So there are all kinds of issues involved. I think there has to be a very systematic analysis. This is what I think.
But do you think social media is also playing a very big role in this?
Big role, very big role. Unfortunately, so. Social media is playing a very big role, even media and press, I'm sorry to say that, because immediately colors are given, immediately parties, names, political, this, that, and other, they're already, you know, the fact may be something else which comes out later, by then the deed has been done. B, we have laws, but the laws have to be applied, as everyone is saying. There's no dearth for laws. Why are they not activated? Population explosion. This is cheek by jowl, the density. Easy availability. Bachchi khel rahi hai, kuch hai. Some enmity, some family feud. So everything is settled through the female, it seems.
There are a lot of efforts being taken on empowering the women, but till the time the Women's Reservation Bill doesn't come through, we will still say that, you know, the actual woman empowerment has not happened. What is your feeling? I mean, the bill has been passed in Rajya Sabha, but when it comes to Lok Sabha, somehow the consensus cannot be forged due to X, Y, and Z reasons.
No, the X, Y, and Z are all the male heads, if I'm not mistaken, right? I don't think there's a single woman MP in Lok Sabha who would have opposed it. So what is it about the male mentality?
Okay.
Let's talk about it. Let's open it up then. Let's not, you know, hide behind words and anonymity. So what's wrong with the male members in Lok Sabha? Why are they afraid? What are the reasons? No answer.
Okay, it was a pleasure hearing you on various issues. And before we wind up the interview, let me ask you a little tricky question. I don't know whether you're going to answer that or not. You've seen politicians of various eras. Who's your favorite politician?
No, that's very unfair. I can't name one.
Oh, that's an unfair question you're saying?
I'm saying unfair. Because there are more than one, yeah, come on. I mean, I just adored Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And great respect for Lal Bahadur Shastri, great respect for Morarji Desai, and Madhu Limay, and so many of my friends. They were all friends. So, Atalji friend, Madhuji friend, Murarji Kaka, I was a family friend. And Lal Bahadur Shastri ji, I was I was young, I was not that young, I was already dancing and all, had chance to meet him. Great people. But at personal level, I would name just a few.
Okay.
And oh, you will say, what about women? Aha. I won't call Sarojini Naidu, would you call her a politician? Would you call Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay a politician? Would you call Kasturba Gandhi a politician? Let me ask you a question through this Rajya Sabha TV. We always say Rashtrapita. Where is Rashtra-Mata? Without Mata, is there any possibility of a birth?
That's an important question you're raising.
Voila.
Okay, ma'am. But another question. I mean, when you're talking about these various charismatic personalities, what do you say about the charisma of Narendra Modi at present?
Of course. I mean, there are no two ways about it. Whether you like him or you don't like him. And I happen to like him a lot. Like in the sense that, yes, he's doing magnificent work. Magnificent. I'm also saying that where are the people who work for the country and not for the family? Or for a particular group? Kahan hai?
Did you get a chance to meet him after you got inducted?
Yeah, I just walked into his chamber in Parliament.
Okay.
And on the day of the vote of no confidence or whatever,
Okay.
during the, after the lunch hour, and I just said, I want to, so this is nahi hai, and he immediately called me and I want to thank you. So he remembered my mother, whom he respected a lot. Had she been alive, she would have been very happy. I said, yes. And her blessings are on me, as my grandfather, my father, my gurus. And I said, I'm going to speak about this. He said, yeah, please, you must speak. And then one thing he said at the end, we akshep.
Okay.
Akshep nahi aana chahiye.
Okay.
So you know the link, the connection. मैंने कहा बिल्कुल नहीं आएगा. I am there.
Okay. Well, Rajya Sabha MPs, the nominated ones, also have the choice of aligning themselves to any particular party or remain independent. So after your tenure is over, would you like to contest elections or maybe align yourself with any particular party?
I don't think I have the temperament to contest elections.
Okay.
Contesting elections is a very different matter. I love people. People love me. But that is a very different ball game. So I don't know.
So you're afraid?
नहीं 6 साल के बाद देखेंगे. अभी क्या है?
Okay, wish you all the best, Sonalji. It was a pleasure having you on our program.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So that's it on this episode of To The Point. See you next time with another personality. Goodbye and thanks for watching.